Morning. Oh boy. Hello everyone. Good morning. Yes, it's Sage. That's good. All right. Hello everybody. Welcome to the channel. It is December 27th. It's December 27th, 2025, and we're going to do a planetary check-in. I hope you're all doing well and that the holidays are treating you kindly and everybody's getting along out there. Planetary situation, please, Spirit, Holy Spirit, Divine, please let us know. What is the planetary situation? Macro. Alrighty then. Welcome to the channel, everybody. I hope that you are doing well. Thanks for being here this morning. Alrighty then, let us tap right in, see what storyline Spirit would like to share with us this morning. In the central energy. What do we got going on in the central energy, Spirit? Holy, woo, what the? Well, I'm going to go ahead and put those back because I just don't know what the heck happened there. Okay. Central energy, please, Spirit. Central energy. Excuse me. Queen of Swords is out here telling the truth. You know, everybody has their own point of view and it is expressed according to whichever characteristics are of the soul. In the challenge position, the Fool, new beginnings. And in the subconscious, subconscious, we've got the Knight of Wands in the reverse, passion project, scattered energy, and frustration. So Mr. Schwankster isn't feeling too happy about the Queen of Swords telling her truth out there. Oh, he's mad. He's real mad. Hello, Jungle Samuel. All right, and in the recent past, we've got the Nine of Wands. Oh, your faith has been tested and your boundaries are firm. You're like, hey, not today, not today. Intentions and expectations. The Two of Pentacles. So there's a lot of stuff going on. You got to balance. You're bringing balance to stuff. Got a lot of stuff going on. But you're a multitasker. In the near future, we've got the Chariot. A victory. And a departure from lame dames and wacky ducks. The lens is being looked through. So the Six of Swords, you're leaving it behind. You're like, hey, I'm not dealing with that no more. Oh, there's so many of them too, Sarah. It's incredible. All these messages are getting held for review. They must be nasty, and I'm just not going to check them right now. No. In the environment, the World, a completion. A completion. So you're leaving the baggage behind, and this is the completion of whatever it is you got going on. Hopes and fears. Charity. Enough to share. Isn't that wonderful? You have enough to share. And in the indigenous culture, that means you're very wealthy indeed. And in the outgoing energy, ooh, Three of Swords. Somebody is in emotional pain. Oopsie. So, here's the thing I just like to say to the naysayers. If you're not entertained by the storyline of this channel, then you can move on. There's no need for you to waste your time here. Being all nasty. Being all nasty. On the channel, we don't need that. So we got the Three of Swords and we've got the Page of Wands. Excitement and freedom for divine love. We're free to love. Finally, at last, we get to move on from those little hoe bags. Oh yeah, there could be an overseas opportunity wherever your person is. They may very well be across the world, across the multiverse, somewhere out there. Somewhere out there is your person, Empress. Absolutely. And that's got these people who were in competition with you in the past, they're having a nightmare. Because you're coming into your sweet life away from these little jackwagons because of all of the high standards and skill that you have developed through these challenges. You're getting your life of luxury. The investment that you made has paid off. So there's painful endings for some because you have this beautiful rebirth and public recognition. Yep. And the King of Wands is here. And he's got those swords up. He's making tough decisions over who gets to come in and have an opportunity with the Temperance Angel. You know, now I guess it's gonna be there's gonna be certain requirements that need to be met before they can come into the energy of. Thank you. I love, love, love is good. Love is good. And somebody's reevaluating because they're being disconnected from love because they've been proven to be a hater and an abuser of it. God knows the truth about what they've been doing, and they're getting cut off from the services of the divine beings. And that's cause for celebration regarding the Queen of Wands and the High Priestess, the Wisdom Keeper, the Divine Feminines, and their sacred knowledge. And we've got the King of Cups here, who is recovering and renewing, being revitalized, rejuvenated, magnified. The love of divine masculine is being magnified. And they're defending, they're very ambitious when it comes to these new unions and proposals. Somebody may be trying to get tricky with the proposal because they want to tap into your abundance. So you're still going to have to use your diligence there. And it could very well be that the law of cause and effect will occur should that continue to happen here. Because we're looking for the hard workers, those who want to come in and actually build something, right? Not just take the efforts of others who are doing such a thing. You know, you start building up and you got this loser coming in and tearing it down and making you start over. And it's like, wow. All right, Jack, that ain't freaking necessary. We don't really want to do that game. We don't want to play that game today or ever again. Stay away. So the Queen of Swords knows the truth about what's been going on here. Clear-minded and perceptive. Flexibility. Flexibility. Adapt and overcome and bend without breaking. Hiding is strategy, not weakness. Strength found in the ability to yield and bounce back. And by doing so, you can find an incredible amount of truth. Why wouldn't I be okay? Do you know something I don't know? What the hell? Did you do something? Oh my God, why would I not be okay? Canadian pumpkin. Did I miss something? So we got the Fool here. A new beginning is in the challenge position. Exploitation. Pleasure. Others having power over you due to what they know, suffering from exploitive labor practices. So you're getting a new beginning because of how you've been treated. You've been exploited. You've been exploited by Nasty Jack and his dripping schwang. He's out here real pissed off, gonna get real nasty with you. He worships money, and he has sex to tap into people's bank accounts. So he's a prostitute, and he's frustrated because the divine feminine knows the truth over what they've been doing, and what the divine feminine has had to overcome with this deceitful behavior. So we got the 9 of Wands out here in the recent past. Seeking help. So recent past, 9 of Wands, gearing up for the worst, seeking help, crying out for support. Help arrives from unexpected quarters. So your prayers were heard. Invisible forces of help guide you through troubled waters. So you're weary, you're tired, but help is on scene. Invisible help. Your prayers are being answered. 2 of Pentacles here. Balancing your decisions. We got some things going on. What is happening? The routine. The routine. Unsettled sleep brings about fatigue and reduced alertness. Your dreams hold messages. Let them guide your intuition. So you could be routinely guided by your dreams. We've got a victory here, or forward momentum on something. Oops. Yeah, so you've got the Chariot here. You've got the Chariot, and you've got breakthrough. So you're moving forward, pushing beyond your comfort zone and discovering new capabilities, allowing yourself to be open and grow stronger through transparency. You know, when you're transparent and authentic, every nasty POS is going to come out of the woodwork and just add to that. They're going to say, oh, you're not good enough. Oh, you're weak. Oh, you're this. Oh, you're that. And they're going to come out in a whole big bunch of them, and they're going to start trying to squash you down and stab you in the freaking astral heart, and, you know, spew all kinds of disgusting things at you. But you're moving forward anyway. Charge! And you're moving forward anyway regarding those who have been pretending to be something that they're not. They've been mimicking your wealth, your high value status. They don't have the soul value that you have. So you've got a breakthrough. You're charging right through it. And you've got the 6 of Swords here. So you're releasing the baggage and leaving it behind. You're moving on. Moving on down the road. Danger. Fatal freaking blow. Fatal freaking blow. The doctrine of mutually assured destruction prevents conflict. Irreversible damage is in sight. Facing the conflict head on could have prevented total destruction. You're leaving, and what is left is total destruction. Everything that your energy and your family ties, spiritual, the divine, are no longer going to cover and protect this disastrous circumstance here. You're leaving it behind. You're releasing that baggage, and this baggage will be completely destroyed. And that is the end. Oh, so an ultimatum. Somebody could literally be dropping bombs. These nasty asshats who love genocide are probably going to drop bombs upon the populace. They've been talking about the United States. They've been talking about the West Coast going under the water. They want to cause a tectonic plate shift, and they want to cause a tsunami of sorts. Yeah, so I have a feeling they're going to be dropping some kind of effing bomb on the United States. Because you've got this charity, you've got the money, and you're giving it out, and people are these nasty jacks that you're no longer going to be supplying with your energy or your wealth. They're pissed, and so they want to blow you the F up and recycle you into another birth of a trap is what they want to do. It's harvest season, but God is here choosing the new fodder for the family. Well, we shall see, won't we? We shall freaking see. Thank you, Leanne. So somebody's getting an ultimatum. Somebody's either getting an ultimatum or giving an ultimatum. We've got this danger, fatal freaking blow. And it's like you're leaving. It's like there's going to be this rapture or the harvest, you know, whoever has been accepted for and seen as worthy of an advancement or as a level up will probably be lifted up, and then the rest of it's going to be gone. They were talking about Lucy, which in the movies, I guess Lucy was the chimpanzee or the ape or whatever that they started doing genetic experiments on to make an intelligent animal. And then I got the message Omega. So it's the end of that product. God stated a couple years ago, when he was first on scene, fed up with this malarkey, he said that this was a failed experiment. Lucy was a failed experiment. So now that cycle is coming to a close. Whoa. Yeah, so here we've got you are sharing your generosity from what you have been growing here. Germination. From the seeds that you have planted, you have gathered reward, and you're sharing it within the community. You're protecting these trees, these new tender growths of life, right? And you're being very generous, caring for it, whether it be financially, with your love, with your attention, with your effort, right? And somebody is Three of Swords, and a Three of Swords loss. They're very upset because what? They can't step on your family tree anymore. They can't come in and foul up your genetics. They're mad. We got across distances. Somebody's heartbroken. Across distances. Somebody's divorced out of your energy and they have to go far away and they're heartbroken about it. They could be heartbroken because somebody from far away is here to mend stuff. They're getting divorced. The miles may seem vast, but the connection transcends space, and trust that what's meant for you will find its way. Somebody's heartbroken that what's meant for you is finding its way. Certain events are impossible to avoid, and they drastically shape your future. Embrace the uncertainty, knowing that serendipity works in your favor. Somebody is heartbroken. They're getting divorced because serendipity has worked in your favor. Your prayers were heard far and wide, and somebody's coming here to pick you up and say you're worthy of advancement. You're worthy of coming home to a new place. So on the bottom of the deck, we got comparison. So these folks of the previous cycle, these Lucy's or whatever, they were always comparing the wallet, who's more valuable, and it depended on what they could visually see in their wallet. What could they spend? You know, it was all petty gain. While your wallet may have been empty, but your soul was very much full of beautiful value and potential. So while they were measuring the wallet, you were measuring the soul. They were measuring petty gain and you were measuring eternity, right? So your channel might be getting promoted because somebody may see you as a gift. Somebody may see your life path, what you've come through. They might find your information valuable, what you can share with the world to uplift, brothers and sisters divine. This is bad news for somebody, and they're drinking and they're fighting with their own self in their mind, kicking themselves because they're being rejected. They had rejected you in the past, and now you're rejecting them now. You're like, you threw my love into the freaking trash bin, and now you're making another choice. Now you're making another choice. And these look, because they wanted a happy ending, but they wound up with a third party situation. Maybe you were hoping for a happy ending, and now they're being condemned for manipulating you in a commitment. They were pointing at you, they were driving your car, they were commanding your life, and then they were blaming you for the F-ups in it. They screwed up your life 100% by forcing you to do as they told you to go the direction they wanted you to, and they effed up your life while they were peeping on other families mimicking their value. They weren't intentionally wanting to grow value with you. They just wanted to pretend. And now the walls are closing in and there's no exit. And he's getting choked out because he left her there trying to push that love up that mountain. And he didn't do a damn thing to help. He used her as a puppet. He took her gifts, these beautiful big gifts, and he left her with shit. With this little teeny tiny piece of shit right there. But you have hidden riches, only reserved to be shown and revealed to the worthy. So now there's an unexpected event happening. Somebody wants to reach out, or they want you to, but you're fiercely independent and you're going through a digital detox. It's like, hey, stay away from me, because you're successful all on your damn own, guided from above into your proper destiny and connections because of your self-discipline, fighting off infidelity and these money-hungry beasts, dedicated to your vows and universal peace. So there's gossip about the previous cycle going into the shredder. It's over. And people are being warned. Big freaking bang. Warning. Freaking function. They ran into God's secret weapon. High honor and savings. That's where it's at. Somebody messed up. They did not find any value in what it was they were effing around with, trying to get rich quick. Childish. They got their little teddy bear there. Oh, thank you, Emily, honeybee. That was nice of you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. So the Queen of Swords is here, Divine Feminine. She knows the truth about what's been going on here. She's been very flexible. She has adapted and overcome without breaking, bending without breaking. Solitude, or what do you call that? Introvert, hermitude, being a recluse, not engaging in the energies of what's been happening out there, because most of the energies out there, they're not under the command of their own spirit soul complex. So they're just kind of being dragged here and dragged there by whatever's being broadcast on the television or over social media or coming out of the mouths of those in their environment, right? So they're kind of affected by that, and they live life according to what's happening in their circumstance, rather than understanding where they're at and how they're feeling and then commanding that. So I've come to look at fear as a little differently. I don't feel so much of it as an emotion anymore. I feel that it's a presence of an energy that is just low vibrational, and it's up to us to breathe into that and manage it and not be overtaken by it. I don't know that fear is an actual emotion anymore. After 22 years of spiritual battle, I think maybe it's just a presence of a low vibrational essence or energy. And we've recognized the feeling, and somebody has labeled it fear, but it's really just a sensitive instrument, divine, organic, or organic, original transmitter, receiver, divine, picking up on the energy that is in the environment. And they've labeled it fear. These low vibrational entities that like to consume suffering energy. Yeah, they have a very low vibration. That's why they have to have you in fear and suffering, because that's the energy they live in. And it's very dense. It's icky. It feels really icky. So the Queen of Swords is adapting and overcoming, bending without breaking. She knows the truth about what has been happening and what she has had to hold inner stability regarding. And now she's sharing that truth. And people are getting arrested, and we're closing this cycle. There is strength found in the ability to yield, to be vulnerable, to absorb, alchemize, reconstitute, and then claim energies that have been sent your way. The Fool is here. You got a new beginnings, because these people who are now getting arrested, they wanted power over you. They've been exploiting you. They've been exploiting the family. They've been exploiting the politicians. They've been using them, feeding on them, and getting them to do and say and promote specific things so that the populace could also be fed upon. Those who have been using your labor have been exploiting you, and your prayers have been heard. They're challenged because your prayers were heard. You're getting a new beginning because they were exploiting you. Mr. Passion, Mr. Angry, Scattered Energy is worshiping money here. They're at the police station. Yeah, they were worshiping money that the Divine Feminine had created, produced. The songstress, the siren, the one who attracts manifestations. They used her to create money and to have reckless sex with. So they're in the police station. We're closing the cycle of them consuming the work and the energy of the apple. the divine feminine. In the past, you are weary, standing up for yourself, crying out for support, and help arrived. Because in this card, we've got 2 men and 1 woman. And then we've got this thing here that's been consuming them and the energy that they've been bringing forth. The triangular relationship, money scamming scheme, right? This is a shark, so it's a water being. It could be Leviathan. Effed up over you. So we've got boundaries here, right? Boundaries. And we've got crying out for help, effed up over you. Your courage, your persistence, your resilience has this person who's been working on a routine. You know, Mr. Schwankster, come into my bed, their little honey bear. Yeah, so they got a lot of things going on. They could have been sleeping with a lot of people, juggling many relationships, happy being single, sleeping with their little stuffed toys, very childish. They could be effed up over you. Oh God, they're thinking about popping the question, or they've routinely been popping the question in order to tap into people's spiritual bank accounts and energies. We've got the Chariot here. You're departing, you're breaking through, illuminated. You broke through the trap. You have shared the truth, your discoveries, your awakenings. You've illuminated everything that has been going on here. Congratulations and thank you. The world needs you. Yep. So you're leaving it behind. You get to leave. You get to leave this baggage behind. And there is a big old thing coming, a fatal blow coming for these folks who have been worshiping money. In the Bible, it says you can't worship mammon and God at the same time. So there's a separation happening. Somebody wants to drop a bomb. They've been talking about the United States. Feelings. Somebody's all up in their feelings. They're getting hit with a fatal blow. This is a completion of this cycle. They're getting an ultimatum. God's delivering an ultimatum for how they've been worshiping the money that the divine feminine can provide. So they didn't set divine feminine on the other side of that, their little teeter-totter. Oh no, they wanted the money that they could siphon out of divine feminine. And they wanted that as their partner. So divine feminine gets to go away. And these little rat bastards can just deal with it. As far as I'm concerned, they should never, ever, ever enjoy the beautiful sacred connection of a divine feminine. Absolutely not. They were a failed experiment. And they're under pressure. They're having anxiety. Time is running out. Charity here. Germination. So you're giving, the seeds of your labor? You're sharing? You're sharing, what you have learned to preserve the delicate beginnings. Maybe you're sharing your rewards or what it is that you have come into for surviving this, for illuminating this scenario, how these nasties were getting rich off of sexual encounters with divine beings, sacrificing them to the devil, and then just saying, "Ooh, I'm so pretty, look how valuable I am. Look how valuable I am. Look how many divine feminines I've fed to this water beast. Oh, I'm so good." You know, one of these nasty jacks, I heard him back there because a divine feminine had risen and was resurrected. And he was furious. "I conquered this one. And it's like, what a POS, man. A freaking nasty jack man coming in for a sexual encounter, considering it war. And when he destroys her, he considers it conquering. And if there's any child born within that war, then he feels he's entitled to the wealth of the child because he has conquered the mother. And everything she has belongs to him. And everything that child has belongs to him. They suck. Freaking sex addicts. They like prostitutes. And they like to trap divine feminines and force her into this position. So they're getting cut out. So whether they were prostituting her in the physical or just prostituting the energy, siphoning it, going off, doing magic with it, effing up her energetic signature when it comes to the universal recognition system. P.O. freaking S betrayer. Worthless. So we've got across distances, fake busy. So somebody may be getting divorced. They got to go away. You may be, oh, Jezebel is fake busy. Jezebel's getting shocking news. She was doing whatever this jackass wanted to do, mirroring. Maybe she was mirroring a jackass and trying to put it onto a divine feminine. Yeah, and that's, now this sweet talk is over. Funeral for sweet talkers. These thugs are stealing the spiritual gifts out of spiritual people. The true colors are seen about some family that have been sending love messages to people who love themselves, marrying them, twin flames. Oh, what's this got going on? What do we got going on here? Their true colors were seen. So, okay, jackass, we got mirroring is in the coffin. Somebody might be sweet talking you, somebody with spiritual gifts, but there's a thug here that we see the true colors of. Could be you're getting love messages from family, a new family. You love yourself, and that's what you put into the mirror, and that's what they want reflected into their environment, into their community. If you're speaking into the mirror and you're putting love and beautiful things into the mirror, that's what they want. They want that connection. Twin flames are turning their back on these devils. They're getting what they wished for because we're fed up with these tricksters and their bad freaking debt and their traps trying to gain the wealth out of people who do have credit. The memories of catfishing from secret accounts trying to get romance with divine masculine. Love-hate situation. Karmic lessons. And legal matters now. Some fake spiritual guru has got some legal matters. There could be criminal paternity. This person may have been sleeping with all of their female members, getting everybody pregnant. Yeah, what a jackass. You're free of this. Somebody's getting readings. The readings may show that you are free. Somebody who's been keeping secrets misses you, or somebody, yeah. But they're saying goodbye to you. You got a new GPS. Those who've been casting love spells all over the world and mentally effing people, doing witchcraft on people's minds, they're running. They're getting blocked from any workplace affairs and bumping heads as a side hustle. They're ashamed. Going through some heartbreak, or they're ashamed of causing so much damn heartbreak with these no strings attached bullshit opportunities. Feeling like shit. Secluded. They got to leave you alone. This psycho was happy single, and they're not part of your family. Whoever this is, they're not part of the family. They were faking it. They were faking it with this toxic lifestyle, and now there's a freaking firestorm. Firestorm. The queen bee is bringing a freaking firestorm, and it's too late for these karmic ties to say, I love you. Too freaking late, and they're not happy. They're losing sleep because now they have to go round and round again with this reckless sex. That's what they were doing in order to gain a life of ease. They prostituted themselves. And they thought if they wore a mask while they were cheating, lying, stealing, thieving, effing, and, whatever they were doing, backstabbing people, they thought that they would be hidden and get away with it. But now they're getting ghosted and they're getting detached. Nobody wants to deal with this hot and cold bullshit artistry, and they're drinking to cope, having massive regrets. This stubborn, arrogant, selfish, my way or the highway is having bad news. Bad freaking news is what they're having. Bad freaking news. You are protecting so you're giving these people, whatever this is, it sounds to me like God has given everybody what they deserve, the charity that they deserve because of what they have grown, maybe because they were doing their best to protect their energy, their tree. This says prevents future issues by addressing root causes. The root causes is people didn't have enough. They didn't have a stable foundation. They weren't given what they needed to be settled and to have a stable, abundant base with which to grow in. So if people have stability, a stable home, they have enough money, they have enough food, then they can better manage their emotional, their internal, and then they can create, right? If they have enough to do that. But we got to protect it from these people who are doing sex just to tap into people's spiritual accounts. Effing up their seeds, screwing up their family tree, screwing up their genetics, their lineage, their bloodline, their ancestry. So we got the Queen of Swords here, flexible, adapting, overcoming, bending without breaking, closing this cycle. Folks are getting arrested. We've got divine timing. Yep. Queen of Swords, her truth is revealed and is closing this cycle of these divine feminines getting fed upon by this crazy freaking exploiter. Your prayers were heard. You're seen faithful. God says they do love me. So now he's here collecting his family, those who have chosen him and the mother. The rose. The rose. The prayers of the rose. The prayers of those who had been sacrificed and exploited, consumed by this shark. They're getting a new beginning. Somebody's getting arrested for exploiting the rose. Their prayers were heard. Passionate Jack, Mr. Schwenkster is out there worshiping the money that Divine Feminine provided. They didn't want to be with Divine Feminine. They didn't want to grow. They didn't want to procreate. They didn't want to, create generations down the road that they could birth into. They were into instant satisfaction. They had no vision of the future. They couldn't see the future. They were too busy drinking, clouding their own judgment, getting off on extracting wealth out of divine beings and watching them suffer. And I don't even like to call them animalistic because animals don't behave in such a foul way. They just don't. Whatever species this is, this Lucy's genetic species, whatever this Lucy species is, they're very callous. They're having eternal regret because they worshipped money over Divine Feminine And now they want to say, I'm sorry, and they're in eternal regret. They were sacrificing the roses. They were putting a ring on it, and then they were sacrificing the divine feminine to the effing devil for shekels and a promise to have a heart-on for eternity and get to F however many little virgins you want. Oh, it's great. I'm a man. Nine of Wands here. You are weary. You were seeking help. Somebody is effed up over you because you are ascending. You have been seen. You've leveled up. You've been found worthy. You have managed a whole lot of bad stuff from these masculine energies. And they're out there fighting, commanding, demanding that because you take these medicines, you know, little herbs and stuff, or perhaps one of their synthetics, that they own you. You know, they poisoned everybody. They did their very best to cause a sickness, a great sickness in the flesh temple, housing spirit and soul. And then once they got you on these medicines, they consider it's a trap, and it's used as bridges and connectors into the temple, the mind, the gifts, the energy. So you're ascending up out of that. Now we've got difficult decisions being made by these masculines, these childish masculines on the routine who've been popping questions and then sacrificing them over and back. They've been going into the shadows, sacrificing the rose, and then picking their copycat and coming out into the light, pretending that they were that. Back and forth baggage. Sacrificing divine feminines for money while they take that energy and those gifts and they share it with somebody who doesn't even possess those energies and gifts. You've got the Chariot here, and you get to move on because you have broken through their veil, their barrier. You have come out illuminated with all this truth, and you're sharing it with the people. They couldn't hide you. They couldn't hide you. You were shining too brightly. Forgotten person, old friend. You've awakened to the truth of somebody in the past, thousands of years ago, who betrayed you and then got you caught in a trap of recycled suffering. So you're leaving that behind, and now they're getting dealt a fatal blow for everything that they've done to you here. You're leaving behind, you're dropping that freaking baggage, and they're all up in their feelings. It's like, wait, I got flowers. It's like, dude, I don't want your effing flowers. Empty freaking room. It could be that they're all up in their feelings because they've got an empty room now, and that's a bed in there. Nobody wants to have sex with Nasty Jack. Absolutely freaking not. You go over there and, you know, have fun with your Jezebel. You know, feed on each other. No people, the end of their opportunity. We're hitting a reset. The world, we got completion here. They're getting an ultimatum, a freaking ultimatum. God is pushing the button, resetting everything. They're under pressure, anxiety, decisions. Time is running out. Oh my God. And they're seen as trash. There's all these communication records. They've been putting out trash. They've been treating themselves like little whores. And then they've put on a mask and they've been faking it like it was actually divine feminine doing these trashy things so that they could get money. They prostituted themselves wearing a mask, and then they tricked themselves into believing that they would not be seen as what they are because of the mask. So the message is they're trash. Everything that they did in the history is trash, worthless, a waste. All of this sleeping and drinking and effing around and sending messages with the divine feminine's face, trying to screw up her reputation with these toxic third-party affair crap, framing people, as of doing things, creating false videos and evidences of them doing it. No, man, it was never them. These people set people up, and then they decided to go just sacrifice all of the divine feminines as being a whore and then step in as them. And they didn't know, divine masculine, divine feminine didn't know they were actually stepping into the sheets with the freaking little Jezebel. And divine feminine was down here getting fed on by a freaking narcissistic schwankster. So we've got the Six of Pentacles here. We've got sharing the wealth, generosity, caring. We've got germination. You care about the growth of the family trees and what it is that they are bringing. We've got sex addiction. Somebody's got a sex addiction here. So germination, you're planting seeds to prevent future issues of those who are sex addicted. So germination prevents future issues by addressing the root causes. The root causes are sex addictions. You know, people just say, I have a passion drive. No, it's like some people are actually addicted, you know, and then these ones will go around and they'll say that people that have taken medicines or whatever are addicted. Or people who use, so they call the synthetic medicines in the sick care hospitals medicine, and they call plant medicine of Mother Nature drugs. And so people who use plant medicine are slandered as being addicts, while people who use the synthetic medicines are said to be trapped and possessions, because the synthetic medicines are connectors and bridges, and therefore ownership over a temple, according to these twisted nasties. So you're preventing future issues by addressing the root cause. The root cause is people cannot manage their sexual urges, and they just feel that they have the right to go out there and F everything and everybody wantonly without even considering for a moment what kind of assault or insult they are laying upon another soul. You're committed to making certain that these the roots of this problem never happens again. Faithfulness, fidelity, loyalty, a pledge, devotion, commitment to honor the roots of that bloodline and the energy that belongs to it. You know, so many people are out there filthying the energy of their bloodline by being wantonly sexual, you know, and they just foul the energy of the bloodline. And then the children that come from that are carrying these curses from all of these reckless sex encounters. They've just taken on demons, you know, attachments, demon attachments, and other things. They've just taken it on to their bloodline and are forcing their children to deal with it because they didn't have a care at all about what they were doing. They didn't have any commitment to the health and well-being, to the vitality, the vital force flowing through the roots and the crowns of the family tree. They didn't care. So they're not going to get any encounters. They're not going to get any encounters. There will be no more connections with those who are sex addicted and, you know, they getting off on being a mistress, a workplace mistress or mister or whatever, and soiling the bloodlines of families. So we've got the Three of Swords here. Somebody is in grief. They're getting cut off because somebody across the distances has heard your prayers here, Rose. And they're coming in and they're like, hey, it's just us now. Whoever this is, they're gonna give you a life of leisure. You're gonna get to go do the things that bring you pleasure. Somebody across the freaking universe heard your prayers, Rose. And they're here right now kicking ass on these Lucy's and their freaking genealogy. You're the apple. You're going to go get fake busy because we're closing the cycle on you getting fed upon. You got to go be fake busy. You got to go do things that bring you pleasure. Nobody's going to be feeding on you. You've been working real hard, processing, alchemizing the trash of this realm. Yeah. So you've got talent. Oh, look at this. You've got beautiful talent here. You sing a song, the energy that you bring out, the source connected beauty that you bring into the world. You've got a talent with your voice, with your frequency, with your vibration to alchemize, to command the waters of your vessel, the frequencies of your temple. Your home is a refuge, a haven, a sacred space. You're breaking up with the hidden truth, with those hidden beings that have been effing up everybody, because you found out the hidden secrets through this illumination. You've discovered the hidden things, and now we've got divine intervention on these clowns that have been doing forbidden love crimes and then camouflaging themselves in a performance. You're going to be reconciled because there is now an understanding through investigation what the mirror, the reflection, the copycats, the catfishers have been doing. You have discovered, you've solved the puzzle, and you have discovered the core of the problem. And you're bringing around a transformation and silence to the collective field of consciousness. These nasty jacks who have been sacrificing their roses and then commanding their minds, hijacking their consciousness, commanding their clairs, their intuitive messaging, and their intellectual properties. So they've been using it, this uninvited guest, while leaving you single, alone. But you never gave up hope. You kept making your wish. You're getting it too. So these ones are now running away because the sun is going down on the shadow. The sun is setting on the shadow. It's over. They miss being connected to your intuition. And it could be that they're in torment now, having anxiety because you're very powerful. They saw you as a 13-year-old girl child, virgin, weak, looking for her prince in shining armor, receiving, being treated like a dog, less than a dog. Yeah, that's what they thought. And now they're drinking, having money issues, because you are wide awake. You are very firm. Your crown is wide open and connected to source. These people are very mad. They're wanting to convince the entirety of the universe that you're a hoax. The law is coming down on this mystery because you are the miracle. You broke through and illuminated what was happening here. You survived the brutality, Rose, and you were resurrected by God, and you came up and you said, this is what's been happening here. These animals, these snakes, these Lucy's, they've been trapping people with these third-party affairs and crap, treating everybody like a damn prostitute, making a gamble, taking photographs, having a great time on the black web or whatever. And now they're being let go because this crap is being cooled down, this toxic attachment being cooled down because we're getting a new beginning. A new beginning for the apple, a new beginning for the rose. Shocking news to Jezebel. She's been dressing up in the energy of the rose for a long time, going ahead and being a whore, and then coming back and laying that energy onto the divine feminine. And they've been getting away with it for a long time, acting like a whore and then putting the energy of being a whore onto the divine feminine, the rose. They've been prostituting the energy if they haven't been doing it physically. And it's pretty sick. It's pretty sick. They've been coming after the beloved children of the Most High God. Haven't pulled these in a while. Let's check it out. Let's check it out. See what happens. So they're having eternal regret. They chose money over divine feminine. Nasty Jack chose money over the divine feminine. They chose to brutalize, punish, squash, shit on, prostitute their divine feminine. No, they're never, ever, ever going to get served or have another opportunity. Never. They've proven their value. They're simply not needed in a healthy community. So Queen of Swords is flexible, adapting, overcoming, bending without breaking. She is here with the truth over what she has survived. Closing this cycle, people are getting arrested. This is divine timing. God raised her up, and there are many of you apples out there. So please, even though I'm speaking as though it is singular, there are many. So don't be offended, okay? That would be great. So we've got divine timing. So yeah, closing the cycle on Nasty Jack, you know, loving on his man friend, Cornholio, coming in, trapping divine feminine, and then taking off with all of her delightful wealth. So she's getting a new beginning. Absolutely, because they were being exploited. Their roses were being exploited for their energy by Nasty Jack, cornholioing his friend there. Nasty Jack, cornholioing his friend, trapping divine feminine to be fed upon by whatever this is, the freaking Leviathan or whatever. So Nasty Jacks were sacrificing the freaking roses, and the roses have been praying, and their prayers are answered. Why? Because they're freaking divine feminines, and these Nasty Jacks have been worshiping the money that they've been extracting out of the womb of power. Intuition. The rose has intuition. The rose has the intuition. These Nasty Jacks don't have any clairs or anything whatsoever. The only reason that they've been enjoying it is because they've been unaliving those who do have clairs, and then wrapping the crown and extracting memories and messaging, claiming it as their own, wandering around being a little hoe bag dressed up in fancy clothes, getting paparazzi to take their picture and tell the public how important and valuable they are. So they're in a king or a knight of wands reverse energy, scattered energy. They worshipped money, and they extracted it out of the womb of power of divine feminines. Air sign, Gemini, Libra, Aquarius. Nasty freaking Jack. Disgusting, leaky schwang, gross. So 9 of Wands is here, weary. The divine feminine is like, help, help. You were all effed up over those people, or maybe they're all effed up over you now because you've ascended, you've leveled up, you've gotten a promotion. They said that you're doing everything you're supposed to be doing. You're getting to know yourself, command yourself, do whatever it is that you can do to manage your life well, regardless of the infiltration or the interference of invisible and seen Nasty Jacks and their friends. You're out of here. You're ascending, and you're not opening your heart to these people. They had centuries where they were tapping into your love and extracting it, and you just were so kind, and you forgave and you forgave, and then you absorbed more torture and trauma and abuse, and you alchemized and you alchemized and you alchemized. And when we came to the 10 of freaking wands, the end of the line, God was saying, enough is a freaking enough. You're not going to be opening your heart to these people. You're not required to give them your love anymore, the love which has sustained them, because all they gave you was hatred. On a routine, they were going into the shadows and sacrificing these divine feminines that they were marrying. Them and their chosen one, back and forth, sacrificing the divine feminine to the devil, and then dressing up their karmic Jezebel as the divine feminine, drawing off of the divine feminine's bank account while she was in a dark, shadowy place, suffering. Nasty Jack, you piss me off. I can't stand you. He should never, ever, ever have the opportunity to marry a divine feminine again. These nasty Jacks are talking about marrying into the clan, the family, the tribe. They want to get back into the territory by marrying somebody in there, a divine feminine. These nasty Jacks want a divine feminine. They want to marry, and they want to have a child and then bust into that family, that bloodline, so that they can continue extracting the spiritual inheritance of it. They are popping the question, and the answer is freaking no. Absolutely not, Nasty Jack. You're sick. You're a childish little whack job sitting there with your little teddy bear. No, thank you. Mama needs a man, not a boy who's cornholioing every freaking buddy, looking for a mama to come and freaking sweep up his shit and clean up the piss around the toilet, wash his filthy little underwear while he goes out and cornholios his friend and comes back and demands that the house isn't cleaned enough or whatever the hell. Absolutely no use for these people. So you got your Chariot here. You're moving forward. You have broken through the barriers, the traps, and you have shared the truth. You have illuminated everybody as to what has been happening here with this core person, this invisible, unknown person, an old friend, probably wanting to present themselves to you and saying, do you still love me? No, you don't even know the damn bastard. Repeating cycles. So somebody's going through. Something is ending and something is beginning. What is ending is whatever this is about this forgotten person, this cornholio of the shadows. So, and I don't mean to be disrespectful to those who are in that, but these freaking little rat bastards, oh, you can believe that I don't really care how they feel about it. No. They never cared about the way that the people that they were torturing sexually, they didn't care about their suffering. They didn't care that they were destroying their opportunity to have a family, to have generational wealth, to continue into the future. They didn't care about the bloodlines that they were exterminating, that they were infiltrating with these. Their favorite weapon of war is relationship, to infiltrate a bloodline through relationship, to have a child so that they can tap that spiritual inheritance of that bloodline, of that family, the entire freaking family, and all of the ancestors that came before them. And then they work it until they destroy that tree. And each family has a planetary stabilizer. They do what they do in order to cut down that tree. And you can see that the planet isn't stabilized right now. They've been doing everything they can to destabilize everybody and everything, including the planet that we live upon. So you're leaving this baggage behind, and they're being dealt a fatal blow because they were being a whole bunch of little bastards. And now they're up in their feelings because nobody wants to come to their bedroom and sleep with them anymore. This is the end of their opportunity to harvest off of divine feminines. Hand a little bit of flowers, schmooze a little bit, and say, oh, my swing gets hard for you, sweetheart. Oh, yeah, let's do it. And it's like, F the F, no. Absolutely not, you worshiping, money worshiping little ho boy. No. Nobody wants to take on your energy. Foul. That's the fatal blow. These nasty jacks had no power without the rose. And they've spent centuries programming people to believe that the mother was a whore, a prostitute, unworthy, while they siphoned every damn thing out of her. No, 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 no. You don't get another shot. Absolutely not. No. Spend the rest of eternity spying on you, nasty Jack. No. Yeah, nasty Jack gets too close to the freaking apple. Woo-hoo-hoo. May the insides boil and the outside blister. Stay away from the rose. Do not attempt to communicate. We're bringing an end to this cycle. We're closing that cycle. They're getting an ultimatum. They may get freaking blasted by some nuclear bomb. They're under pressure because we've got messages. The message is they are trash. The message is they're trash. They've been side hustling the energy of divine feminine. God knows who the divine feminines are. And these karmic little Jezebels are trash. They're seen as such. They're Lucy's. They're the Lucy. They're the Lucy, the chimpanzee that got genetically modified over many generations. Apparently they've got, this is the 5th generation of freaking Lucy genetic modification. And they're trash. Sex addicted, energy harvesting, hoe bags. And now they're having challenges. They got to work on their own inner healing. We've got the 6 of Pentacles there because you got this charity, but you are preventing future issues with the family tree that are coming together now. You're going to make sure that these sex-addicted hobo, whatever the hell, they don't step on your family tree. They're not going to take part in your family tree. They're not going to marry into your family tree. They're not going to touch your bloodline. Absolutely the frick not. Because, and there's a commitment here, an oath, a pledge, a devotion to making certain that that doesn't happen to divine feminine. Never again will this sex-addicted little Lucy come in and fuck up your damn bloodline. The masculine is pledging this to the divine feminine. These little sex-addicted Jezebels will not be having an encounter. No more encounters with the Jezebels. With the sex-addicted Jezebels. Divine masculine has to get control over that snake, man. He can't be wandering around being led this way and led that way. Oh, Cornholio. Oh, pleasure. Come on, divine masculine. Get it together. Son of a bitch. We got generations of wealth to produce here. Look, and we're not going to gamble anymore. These people took a gamble with their divine feminine. They decided to sacrifice her to the devil, go roll in the hay with a Jezebel or a masculine dressed up as a Jezebel. Hoo-hoo, F-fest. Yay, let's have fun on the bank account, on the spiritual bank account of this divine feminine. We can go in and treat her like shit, and we can go in there and make her serve us too and carry the weight of our bullshit, our sin. And they've been transferring it onto her for centuries and the children that she produces. No more gambling with the family tree, with the bloodlines. This is crap. It's stupid. It's so immature and absolutely dangerous for anybody who wants to continue living. So stupid. And they demand that the divine feminine follow them in their great wisdom. It's so freaking stupid. They're getting divorced because somebody across the freaking distances heard your prayers, Rose, and they're coming in and they're like, oh, well, Nasty Jack can't have no more of you. Absolutely the frick not. Because this apple is going to go be fake busy. This apple is going to go do stuff that makes them happy. The potter with the clay. We're going to go create with the clay. the molder with the clay. So they say that, whatever, that we are the clay, that God is the molder or whatever. Well, we got the apple here of God's eye, which is the creatress. She grows life within her own temple and then brings it into the world. It could be that everybody has been saying that the apple, the daughter of Eden, is fake busy when she's the one who's been holding the crap together while these nasty freaking jacks are out there effing everybody and everything, looking for a quick profit, thinking themselves a real catch with that thing. I can't help it. We got moving. We got moving in the reverse. Moving in the reverse. Moving in the reverse. Somebody's not moving. It could be that those who were fake busy, those apples who were fake busy, won't be moving forward. Well, it came out in the reverse. Somebody's not moving in with you. They're heartbroken. They're getting divorced. They're in emotional pain because serendipity is working in your favor. You're the apple. Those who are fake busy can't move. They have to go back. Yeah, so you're the apple. Somebody heard the apple. And we've got those who were fake busy. Those who were fake busy have to go back. They got to go back. They got to try again. They're not moving forward with you. They're not moving forward with you because they didn't generate anything. They didn't do anything. They didn't manifest anything. They lied. They were fake busy. They didn't do shit. They just siphoned the work and the effort out of their sacrifices and claimed victory for their efforts. So this is a liar, and they have to go back and they got to try it again because they're a effed up little brutalizing phony boy is what they are. They've been using pregnancies and commitments, marriage commitments, in order to drain the divine feminine of her spiritual bank account and all of those gifts. They said she was a dime a freaking dozen. Yeah. You're going to be traveling soon, and health issues are going to arise for these people. This gold digger. They're swearing they're going to get back. They're swearing they're going to get back into the territory. That they're going to use this medication as a connector and a bridge to whatever timeline you go to. They're very excited that these females are sopranos. They're very high-ranking, upper-dimensional queen bees. And some of them are taking this synthetic medicines. And this curator and his brohos they're using these synthetic medicines as connectors and bridges. Now, I don't know if it's graphene or if there are little nanobots that connect the consciousness to whatever timeline they're on, but they're using the medicines, their drugs in the sick care industry as connectors and bridges. It could be heavy metals. It could be nanobots, these little teeny tiny computers that they are running the minds with or infiltrating the minds with. There could be some kind of a confession about pets. Or maybe these are pets that are confessing, actual pets. The divine may be going around asking everybody's pets, what have they observed? All of your familiars, your dogs, your cats, whatever. What have they observed? What have they seen? Getting all the information from that. Maybe they see you. Yeah, there's a divorce from the fire sign. Aries, Leo, Sagittarius. Those who embody the essence of the sun, who have the fire within them, they're getting cut off from all these nasty jacks because they're no longer available for date night. No more date night with those who embody the essence of the sun and these low vibrational Jezebel, Hobag, Gizolos. They got to keep their distance from your honeymoon, from your new beginning, and from your intimate encounters because there's going to be privacy. These watchers, these perverts, these peeping toms out there unseen, they can no longer stand at your bedside while you're making love with your spouse, watching, getting off, waiting for a little sip of that energy. Nasty. So just a few more months. Good things come to those who wait. Research is being done. Perhaps you are being watched over. We've got, or maybe there is some searching out that needs to be done on an earth sign, a narcissistic third-party enemy, a nasty freaking jack, doing love spells. You're protected by your guardian. You might be a water sign, Cancer, Scorpio, Pisces, or this is who you're being protected from. Use caution. They are being let go. They're in process of being let go right now. Say no, say no, say no. Give it time. The liars are being cleared out from the dimensional space here. They're being cleared out. They're being delivered a fatal blow. So you're going to want to wait before you entangle with anybody. Yeah, God's cleaning it up. God is cleaning it up. And we got a whole bunch of folks out there that are real mad because they think Divine Feminine is responsible for their life. They think that the mother is there to cater and serve them from the conception to their death, that they owe these nasty jacks a decent existence while they go out and be a whore and bring all that nasty energy back into this Divine Feminine's house. Completely disrespecting the essence, the vital force of the Divine Feminine, this sacrificed rose, the one who is faithfully praying to the divine, the one who is seen as faithful, the one whose energy is covering them and protecting them. It's gone now. They're losing all of that. They don't get it anymore. No, no, no. They do not get to be protected by the prayer of Divine Feminine. Please do what you need to do with the genders, but I'm reading the story, and this is what it is. Queen of Swords knows the truth. She bended. She did not break. And she's out here closing this damn cycle of these people feeding on the apple of God's tree. They're getting arrested. This is divine timing for those who were confused sexually. These third-party triangular relationship bullshit artists, yeah, they've lost. They've lost, and they are lost. You're getting a new beginning because they were exploiting you and your intuition, your intellectual property. They were sacrificing the roses, and they were exploiting their mental property, their intuitive gifts, their clairs, and they were creating all kinds of shit in the collective field. Like Elon's satellites that are just covering the planet. That's what it's like in the field of consciousness. All of these interferences trying to keep you from busting through and getting up into the upper dimensional spaces to illuminate the horrors of what's been happening here. Your prayers have been heard. They were exploiting you badly, using words of love as weapons of war, using the birthing of children to create chaos in the mother's life and to tap the family's spiritual inheritance and just drain it so that the tree will never ever be successful. Flighty, your prayers have been heard. The roses' prayers have been heard. These ones are having anxiety. They don't know what's going to happen now. God is here pushing the damn button. They're in danger. They've been using the image of the Father to RAPE children and mothers. They've been chemically castrating the fathers and RAPing them too. They have used the image of God to torture family. and the animals that they love. And then to jam their freaking drill into the Mother Earth herself and drain her of her lifeblood. It's really sick how disconnected these ones are. Making life hard for the diamond, for the rose, for the wealth of the planet. They didn't want the diamond to procreate or to become great. They did not want this planet becoming the second sun. They wanted to live in filth and low vibrational energy. Lust and pain is what they thrive upon. So you're weary, you're tired of dealing with this crap. You prayed for help and you were effed up over these people, and maybe they're effed up over you now because you have ascended, you have leveled up, you've been found worthy. You're doing everything that you need to do. You're taking care of yourself. You're cleansing, you're spiritually cleansing yourself. You're managing your emotional body, your mental body, your physical body, your electrical system, the stability of your home, your sacred space. Your relationships or your friendships are respectful. You carry honor within your heart. And you're connected with Source Divine, a beautiful daughter of the tree of God. So now you've ascended here. You've leveled up. You've been promoted. You have been found worthy. You need to move forward. They can't trap you here. You need to move forward. You have been through cycle after cycle of this, and you have always come out on top. You have always outperformed these ones, and yet somehow they've been able to trap you. And it's with this stupid medicine, I think. They've been using it as connectors and bridges and traps for spirit soul complexes so that they can continue harvesting and feasting. So they've been cheating. These who are addicted to feeding on your energy and on your adrenalized endorphins and blood supply, they are addicted to you. And they're projecting out, trying to convince the Supreme Courts and the universe that you're the addict because you're using plant medicines or any kind of medicines. They're calling you unstable and insufficient, while at the same time jonesing hard for your supply because they've been cut off. You're not required to open up your heart. They got to face it here. You're not required to open your heart to them anymore. You have, God said, never give it back. You will never give it back. They will never feed on you again. Absolutely not. No. They lied on you, which means they lied on everybody else. It was a big, fat illusion, and you have illuminated the truth of it. So you're not required to open your heart. They got to face it. They were not willing to tell the truth, but the truth has set you free. And you're no longer required to serve them. There's got a Two of Pentacles here. They got a lot of decisions to make about going over and back, the half-court rule. They kept going into the shadows, sacrificing divine feminines and other little innocent, pure beings. And then they've been dressing up in the energy and being imbued by it. And then they've been presenting themselves into the light as though they are pure and loving and such, when they just red-rummed somebody that is pure and innocent. They consume their own young and then present themselves as worthy of being known by God. It's sick. So Mr. Routine sleeping with teddy bears is got some unsettled sleep. He's not sleeping well. He might be getting messages in his dreams. He's popping the question, but the answer is no. He's not getting a yes. Nobody wants to be with that person because he's a weed. He's a weed. He doesn't have anything to offer. He's not really willing. He's not willing to settle down or be responsible. He just wants to have that big old bed with his little teddy bear, and he wants to be there all by himself unless he wants somebody to come in and please him, right? And he's always leaving people in pieces, and he might be in pieces right now because nobody wants to marry him. He might be crushed. He might be emotionally hurting. You're getting your chariot. You're walking away. You're like, I'm out of here, man. I'm out of here. You broke through the barriers or whatever this was that was keeping you veiled. They wrapped the crowns of these divine feminines, these roses that were sacrificed, they wrapped like red cloth around their crown, and then they hexed it and cursed it so that they would not be recognized by the upper dimensional family, the source, connected, star system or whatever. But you made it through that. So somebody, this forgotten person, whoever this old friend is, that's trying to present themselves saying, do you still love me? It's like, man, I don't even know you. Why are you in my face? Why are you even presenting me this? Still love you? I don't even know who you are. They take the memories of their sacrifices and they give them, they download them, transfer them to their chosen clone or Jezebel. And then they have the audacity to come back after centuries of torturing you and withdrawing from you to see, do you still love me? Oh, I don't know. I think maybe they need to be hit in the head with a hammer a few times to see, and then we'll stop, and then we'll just ask them if they still love us, right? I don't know. They're tangled up in this web and they can't get out of it because you've eliminated the truth of it. This past person has got to go through that cycle. The cycle is ending with this past person, and they're gonna go start again, and they're not gonna get your support. Absolutely not. No. You're leaving that baggage. You're leaving that freaking baggage behind. Get the hell out, you nasty freaking jack. Just go get blown up already. Okay? Because God's gonna say, boom, shakalaka, freak. What did you do to my reputation, son? What did you do to my reputation, son? What did you do to the mother? What did you do to the daughter, son? Yeah. He might get lucky thousands of years from now and be permitted an opportunity to come back. There's no communication with these nasty jacks and their Jezebel friends because they made life very, very difficult for pure, loving beings. They covered them in the blame and the shame of their vile deeds and ways, and thought that their illusion casting, that they were that, was going to stick, but it didn't. It didn't. The world is turning here. God is pushing the freaking button. There's a reset on Lucy. This is the Omega for Lucy. Lucy is done. Lucy is done. Lucy will not get an opportunity to be in that family tree. No. We're not gambling anymore with the wealth and the well-being of our trees. We're not gambling. Their cup will remain empty. They've been coming in and, playing the role that if they can, get into the masculines, if they can get the snake of the masculine to freaking respond and accept and choose them, that the apple will just be shoved in a shadow somewhere and hidden while they go have every fantasy that they've ever dreamed of, sexually, be satisfied. And, apparently they really liked that for many, many centuries. They really thought that's where it was, Whatever, man. The liar who's been manipulated, or the magician, the liar magician, they were fake busy. They didn't manifest crap. It was all a freaking lie. Everything that you no longer need is falling away to make room for the love that you deserve. This liar is going away. They got to go back. They're not moving forward with you. You're going somewhere, Apple. And look at there's a spacesuit. So you're going to be traveling, through galaxies, through cosmic systems. And you're going to a new place, another timeline, another dimensional system. There are unlimited numbers of universes out there. There are at least 4 goddesses of time that had been trapped thousands of years ago in this system. And those roses have been liberated, emancipated. So those timelines that this ugly little magician has been siphoning the capacity and the skills out of these divine feminines to manipulate, to mutate, to cause slave colonies on. Yeah, those are all coming undone. They will never use divine feminine's skills, abilities, and talents to hurt her family ever again. Nasty Jack is such a freaking nasty Jack. He has destroyed the reputation of the father, and the father needs to kick their ass because, you know, how dare they? How freaking dare they? Touting themselves gods. Tartamistic. Thank you, sweetheart. That's so nice. So they have to stay away from you because they left you alone. They neglected your needs. They took everything from you. You were the prize, and they extracted the entire thing and left you there with nothing, and then covered you in the blame and the shame of their filth, and then said that you were that. Your prayers have been heard. Your faith that there were greater beings than these held true. And now everything they built off of you while leaving you, they drained you of every ounce of life force nearly. They kept you there sick, right? And you, like maybe your thyroid went out, or maybe you got some kind of a high blood pressure or some kind of a water retention, whatever it is. These people drained you of your life force, vitality, your health. And then, like, yeah, all we need is a relationship. Go stick her with the swing. Go set that hook, and then we can extract whatever we want. Yeah, yeah. Blind spot. They've been found guilty. They've been found guilty of keeping divine feminine secret, of lying, cheating, and stealing, of playing games with the beautiful divine sons and daughters, the mothers, sticking them in a rabbit hole, and then putting them on a long, long road that they thought was impossible to ever make it through. This childish person is getting dealt with in a fierce and aggressive manner. F them. They are the new fodder. According to God, they will be fed upon, just as they fed upon you, Rose. There's more of them, which is good because their energy is far less than yours. So they want forgiveness because they're going down now. They're going down. They're going under. And this is ending. These broken promises, these relationships with people who used love as a weapon of war, is ending. The snake is looking for an exit plan from the dark side. They're being left alone, or maybe they sacrificed many flames to the dark side, left them alone there to deal with it, to alchemize the shit of it. And now they're crushed. Crushed by neglect. The flames, crushed by neglect, is what they were. Burned over and freaking over again for writing a book about love. The church burned a woman. I just posted that the other day. I found out about that. A woman, years and centuries ago, hundreds of years ago, wrote a book about love. The church burned the book, and then they burned her for speaking. For daring to spread words of love. They burned her alive for daring to spread words of love. They called her sacrilegious. Now they're grieving because she's leaving. She has escaped, and they're reaching out, trying to connect, but love is eluding them. Love doesn't want to have anything to do with them because love was used as a weapon of war by them. They cannot ever be served by a loving being again. Absolutely not. They got to go become that if they ever want that. They got to become it. And it's not hard to be, I mean, it's really, really hard to remain loving when you got an entire world um, defiling your energy from an unseen space, defiling your reputation through the faces, the masks of catfishing Jezebel hobags out there sexing up the entire world, probably uploading pictures of herself looking like you, trying to destroy your. They wanted to trap you because you are the source. So the Queen of Swords is out here with the truth. She has the truth. She was, she adapted to the criminal, very brutal traumas that they were forcing upon her. She bended. She did not break. And while she was silent, they thought that she was weak, but it was strategy, observation, research. Strength found in the ability to yield into the trauma, to take it on, and then to alchemize it and bounce back. She's closing this cycle, the Divine Feminine, telling her testimony, her truth, everything, every true thing that she has ever experienced and witnessed about the abuse here. People are getting arrested. This is divine timing for these third-party enemies, these nasty jacks. They've lost. They've lost. They've lost their battle with Divine Feminine. They've lost because Divine Feminine is grateful for life, the hardships, as well as the good times. Because she knows that she can bend without breaking. She knows about her inner self and the strength that she possesses. And she's not out here chopping people up, you know, trying to portray herself as some powerful being. She's out here sharing gratitude and love with people, offering protection from these deviant freaking nasties. Attacking Divine Feminine just so that they can sacrifice her and drain her spiritual inheritance and then take credit for the mind that she shares with the divine. She's getting a new beginning because they were exploiting her and all of her gifts and efforts for exploiting her intuition. For exploiting her God-given talents. Happiness. We got happiness. So somebody is having anxiety. They don't know what you're going to do next. The Rose is happy. Her prayers have been heard. These ones are they're having anxiety because everybody can see that they're not trusted. This says, I accept that my inner voice will always guide me correctly. They didn't trust their inner voice. They're not to be trusted. They're having anxiety because they're seen as untrustworthy. Knight of Wands in the reverse is very angry. The energy is very scattered. Dude is frustrated. This one chose money over the Divine Feminine. They decided to red rum an actual human being with beautiful gifts and lots of potential for future creation and manifestation. They decided to unalive this person and give them to the devil for money. For money. Jezebel was his favorite thing, and he really liked it when they were cloned out of his own genetics. I don't know. I think having sex with a clone of himself really turned him on. This nasty Jack. He's disgusting. The op on that. Thought he was the best thing in the entire multiverse. He said, ooh, I'm so pretty. I'm so pretty. They want forgiveness for making life hard for the diamond. No. Forgiveness these days means release. Forgiveness these days means I forgive myself for being so damn forgiving. I forgive myself for continuously exposing myself to this brutality. I forgive myself for not stepping up and saying, hey, jackwagon, absolutely freaking not. I forgive myself and I release those that I allowed to abuse me. And I offer them nothing. I offer them nothing except release. So you're in a 9 of Wands here. In the recent past, your faith has been tested. You're seen to be resilient. You reached out and cried out for support. Your prayers went to the edges of the limitless numbers of universes. And you got some fellas out there who are saying, whoa, what's this? What's this beautiful sound I'm hearing coming out of this space? Your soul song is what was heard. Your soul song. You know, these nasty jacks, they don't want you to sing. They don't want you to dance. They don't want your energy to be amplified, and they don't want your shine to be recognized. Absolutely not. You know, they just can't have you being recognized by these more important, more advanced, upper dimensional masculines. They don't want you to be recognized as having done everything that you needed to do, learning all of your lessons, and have been approved of and earned an advancement, a level up, a promotion. They're so mad. They're doing everything they can to make it seem as though you're incapable of managing yourself by intentionally poisoning and toxifying food, water, mind. They got to surrender their need to control you. They were lying and cheating and stealing, and they have to face it. They're frauds. They're frauds. They've been going over and back. They've been playing in the shadows, doing nasty things to divine, pure beings, no matter what the age. And then they've been coming back into the light, presenting themselves as pure, when they're vile, they're vicious, and they're cruel. Mr. Gigolo is losing sleep. This weed seed is, his life is in pieces. He's popping the question. He's asking people to marry him, but everybody's saying no, absolutely the F not. Gigolo. He popped the question to a limitless, abundant being. And the answer is effing no. Gigolo. Effing no. They went over and back. They got baggage, supreme amounts of baggage that require them to give up the life of an abundant, limitless being in order to manage it. No, they can't get married to anybody who has these gifts ever again. They can't have this contract. No. No. They've been using the contracted gifts of the divine beings to hurt those and they and that which the divine beings love and were actually here to bring nurturing and healing to. They trapped these gifts and then commanded the gifts and didn't allow the divine feminine to bring a healing, a nurturing to the world. They trapped them and then downloaded them, transferred them over to their Jezebel. And then the Jezebel just went out and had orgies with your energy, pretending that they were that so that they could frame you as being a freaking floozy and a terrorist. You broke through the barriers. You broke through the veil that had kept you hidden, this wrap that they had over your crown, and you have illuminated the truth over what this forgotten person was doing. Centuries ago, this little jackwagon did this, and they've been so full of themselves, thinking themselves such a pretty boy. They got to go back because this cycle is ending and they can't extract themselves from what they've done. They planted their own seeds. They thought that you were going to carry the burden of their seeds, and you just don't. You get to give them back that mirror. Everything they put into that mirror that they forced you to carry over thousands of years, they have to now go through. It's their stuff. It's their seeds, their intention, the gift they made you carry. the gift they made you pay for by suffering. As everybody looked at you, they saw this mirror and they thought that it was you, but it wasn't. It was just this nasty stuff that Nasty Jack was putting in there with his Jezebel friend. But now you don't have to carry it anymore. And they're worried. And they're worried. You don't have to carry it anymore. It's centuries, man. And it wasn't just this one nasty air sign doing it to you. It was everybody that they recruited to make sure that you would never, ever come back up. They're going to get nuked. They're going to get nuked. While you get released, ascended, promoted. You're not required to open your heart to them, and nor will you. God said, no, you're not going to give it back. You're not going to give them any. And never again will they take anything from you. That was also a promise. They will never take anything from you again, ever. They'll try to convince you that they are going to. They have to accept the things that they cannot change. They made life very rocky for you, and there's no more communicating. They're going to get nuked. No more people, no more opportunity, because they were effing around with the feelings of divine feminine. They were using love as a weapon of war. They were using intimate encounters and entanglements meant to procreate and forward and advance life. They were using that as a weapon of war. We're bringing the world to a completion here. The world card is here, and they're receiving an ultimatum. Somebody is pushing the red freaking button. They're going to get nuked. I don't know what timeline they're on. It could be this one. I don't know. But somebody's getting nuked. They're under pressure. The message is they're trash. They're trash. This phase, this Lucy genetic scientist, mad freaking genetic CRISPRing and such is over. It was a failed experiment, according to God. The Lucys are getting nuked. They're getting nuked. They're not being offered any more services because of the challenges that they brought to those people who were here offering services. They took the wealth that was meant to provide the people with services, and then they went out and partied and slandered innocent people and stole more and just became really atrocious. This nasty soup of trash. Patience. Everything happens in divine order. So they're losing all services because of the challenges that they presented to those people who were here to offer them. Your Six of Pentacles here, your charity and such, is being protected by addressing the root of the problem. Sex-addicted Jezebels, sex-addicted gigolos. Here, marrying into and having children with various people within various family trees or bloodlines, simply so that they could tap into the spiritual inheritance of that, sacrifice the beings who are holding that instability, and then drain it. So you're protecting your charity, your wealth from this. There is a commitment that these sex-addicted Jezebels and Gigolos will not take the place of divine feminine. No more encounters. Divine masculine is committing themselves, devoted there. They're saying they're not going to gamble with their family trees, with their futures, with their potential wealth, and with their opportunity to be reborn into a strong foundation. You know, every 30, I guess, every 30,000 years, life gets reseeded here on the planet. The big kahuna is here. And, you know, Nasty Jack thought that they were it, and they're finding out otherwise. They're getting nuked. They're getting freaking nuked. And they're demanding that Divine Feminine take on the burden of it. They feel this nasty freaking curator that's been wheeling and dealing and vital force of humanity for a long time. He feels that it's the Rose's responsibility as the savior to save them, to advocate for them, to tell God that they're worthy. And they're simply not. The truth is here. And it's not even, you don't even have to say anything. All you have to do is reveal the memories of what has happened to you. You don't have to say anything. It's all in the Akashic. You don't have to tell anybody. All that God has to do is retrieve the history. Of course, they want to blame Divine Feminine for shining so freaking brightly, for being seen, for breaking through the barrier that had you hidden. You know, you're revealed now. Everything's fallen apart. Everything's fallen apart because the truth is here. So this person or people who, these divine masculines who have committed themselves, who have pledged themselves, who have pledged an oath of devotion to making sure that these sex addicted Jezebels and gigolos or whatever won't infiltrate the bloodlines of planetary trees that stabilize. They're the connectors. Their roots are in the under, their crown is in the upper, and they bring stabilization here to the middle ground. This is how it was supposed to be. But you got these nasty jacks out there. They've been cutting down the tree. The stabilizers, the divine feminines, the planetary stabilizers, those who are rooted and those who are crowned, right? Rooted in shadow, crowned in light. Everything that they receive in their crown goes straight into the roots, as above, so below. And you got these nasty jacks out here cutting down those trees, right? So the crown and the roots, and now they're just having a feast here in the middle ground while with all this damn suffering. But you survived, and now you are the bridge. Planetary stabler, Queen Bee, divine feminines, those who they have so badly vilified, defiled, and used as tools, as a commodity for their own insanity of ensnaring the divine feminine and using her forever. So anyway, that's really sad. It's just really sad to me that I even have to say that, but it's what it is. It's what it is. So they're getting divorced out. They're in a heartbreak. 3 of Swords energy. They're suffering a loss because your prayers were heard and the apple was heard long, far, far away. And you got somebody from another system who has heard those prayers. You are ascending into an upper dimensional space and you've got yourself the attention of an upper dimensional masculine. Who is making this okay. These nasty ones who refuse to let you go, they're not coming forward with you. They're going back, whether they like it or not, because this magician is a liar. They didn't manifest anything. They're fake busy. They've been taking the credit for other people's manifestations. They've been stealing intellectual property, and then the results coming from that, they've also been stealing and taking credit for. So now everything they built on your energy, every lie they ever told has got them in a state of ruins right now because they're being cleared out to make room for the love that you deserve. They're getting nuked. They're getting freaking nuked. This is the end. This is the end of the world as we know it. You're no longer alone. You're no longer alone, Apple. You will no longer be alone. This new connection, this upper dimensional masculine, they're not like these low vibrational Lucy's. They're divine. So these prideful people were bringing adversity to you. They really, to those who are empathy, to the empaths, to the transmitter receivers of the divine. They were bringing this adversity to your purpose and to the relationships that were here to serve higher good. They thought that twin flames were forbidden. The twin flames absolutely need to come together. This is supposed to be the second sun. It's supposed to be teeming with vibrant life. But we have vampires here needlessly feeding. They're under judgment. They're under judgment for what they have done to the minds of the souls that possess gifts of the soul here to benefit others. The negativity is being removed to restore peace. And they're afraid because you are free and you are disciplined. Your discipline has offered you freedom. You're here doing everything you're supposed to do. You're not drinking, you're not partying, you're not being a floozy, you're paying all your bills on time, you don't owe back taxes, you have a stable home, and you did all it on your own. You did it all on your own. You didn't have anybody helping you. They were too busy being gigolo, cornholio, out there spending your soul value, getting high, drinking, acting like the big dog on campus. They're guilty. They're guilty of trying to affect your health. But because you honor the vessel that enshrines your soul, and you have, it appears to me, this is a story I'm picking up on, it seems to me that you've teamed up with the mother in order to utilize medicines that do bring homeostasis and healing to the temple. These people have failed, and they're in doubt now. Not only are they in doubt, they're in regret because they're being denied friendship. Because they've been using relationship, friendship, partnership to tap into other people's timelines and lives and then blame them for their shit. They've been transferring karmic debt onto their partnerships, their friendships, their relationships. So they're being denied all of that, and they're in grief because you're courageous and you focus on the lighter side of life, and that brings you success because you know that there's no greater goal than to love. And because of all of that, we're having a change. There's a change here. The poles are shifting. The mother is messing with the freaking algorithm of Cyborg Man or whatever. He's pissed. Doesn't know what to do. Because you have grown in consciousness and awareness, you are very powerful and persevering. They envy it. They envy the fact that you are love and you are balance. You bring perfect harmony to whatever environment you're in. You are the temperance angel. You have the blood of an angel. You belong to that tree, the family divine. You could be a, what do they call that? A demi-god or a goddess. But they've been recycling you through many lives and births and deaths of narcissistic peasantry. And they've been trying to convince you that you have no value. But you are the value. You are the value. And this cycle is over. It's time for God to nuke them. So while we may experience some severe undoing, just try not to get too involved in it, because you're going to be here. You're going to be kept safe. You know, and even if it is our time to exit this realm, and if this is the way that we have to do it, then so be it, I suppose. You know? $129. What do you think? Shall I pull another card? Uh-oh, we got to fight? What's going on? Don't be fighting. You know, and the thing about it too is that usually those people that are in our lives will show us very clearly where the internal status of our own self. You know, what we permit in our life is what we see. So some people say, you know, people will treat us how we allow them to treat us. And until we decide that we're worthy of better treatment than that. And you know, one of the things is too, is like sometimes in order to receive what it is we deserve, we have to isolate, because there's always somebody there trying to take some of it, right? And if we are willing to receive what it is God is trying to give us, sometimes we have to isolate. Because if we have too many energetic signatures attached to our own, then we are seen as this big soup of energy, right? We're not, our energy signature is tainted by the environment. Which is why solitude, they say meditation, but it's not, I don't really call it, it's like alone time, you know, like a long walk with nature, or just some time seated by the river to kind of just be one with life. I don't think I want to use these ones. What are we going to do? Well, actually, I suppose maybe we'll, no, I think we're done. I think maybe we're done. I think maybe I'm just going to leave that right here. Yeah, I'm just going to go ahead and leave this one right here. Thank you, Monique. Yes, I know. Sometimes my apologies. I got to go through, and at the end of that, I go back through and then I watch the replay of the chat, and then I blocked out people that were disrespectful. My apologies for you having to entertain that. Thank you so very much for spending your time with me this morning, everybody. I hope you have a beautiful day. I'll see you on the next one. Thank you. Bye-bye.